Hello, and welcome back to the Coop De Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher and Tommy Lazaridis to discuss Aston Villa versus Brighton Hove Albion. Yes, it was all about Europa League conference. It was all about getting the 3 points. We had to better Tottenham and Brentford's results, and we did that. We are in the conference. We're going on a European tour, and all that's coming up and much more after this. Okay, so it was Villa Park, it was Brighton and Hove Albion, and it was the biggest game in for Villa for a few years now, maybe since avoiding relegation on the last day back in our first year in the Premiership. So, guys, what a game! What an occasion! What a crowd! Noah, I'll go to you first. It was just incredible atmosphere. A few nerves, I think, from everyone watching, all us villains around the world. To come this close and to not do it would have been devastating. But we came out, we started well. Jacob Ramsey, unbelievable in that first half, especially, and we got the early goal through Douglas Luiz after a great run from JJ.
Mate, what a day that would have been to have been at Villa Park. Very jealous of everyone that was there. All the videos looked incredible, like with the players coming on the coach.
Yeah.
But first things first, got to give credit to Brighton because they are a fucking good side. They are unbelievable. So credit where credit's due because they are very good. And we did the double over them, and they are a very, very, very good team. But as you said, I think JJ must be a little bit upset he didn't make the England squad because that was a very, very good JJ performance.
I think it's his best performance in a Villa shirt.
Oh, I'd 100%. I'd say that 100%. But honestly, couldn't go off to a better start. I was, to be fair, going into the game, I wasn't nervous at all. But as soon as the game kicked off, I was absolutely bricking it. And yeah, the nerves were settled quite easily with the Douglas Luiz finish.
That's it. Our player of the season, Dougie, Tommy, on the spot again. I think that's is it? I think 7 goals or maybe 8 goals this season. He's chipped in. That's what I'm saying, and he's chipped in again in the clutch moment. Brilliant run from JJ and a great ball to pick him out as well on the edge of the box. And it just really, calmed the nerves and made us all feel a bit more easy going into the match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dougie actually got the interception and started that play. So, it was only, justice that he finished it. Again, JJ's been in unreal form. I don't want to kind of reference Grealish, but we seem to be, breeding some pretty good gems out of Birmingham. So, good to see that we are the most dominant club in the Midlands and all the best youth coming to Villa. Like I said, we're shitting bricks. Brighton play well. Evan Ferguson is just such a natural talent. I think he's going to be a great forward for them as well. We sprung them, I think, offside once or twice early on. And I think, we just had to put it to bed nice and early, just kill their confidence. And, they play attacking football. And I think I thought we were risking it with the high line, but Dougie breaking the deadlock, and then again, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but then JJ again putting his body on the line, taking a pretty hard hit from Steele to get the assist to Ollie, and 2-0 for that was wrapped. I thought, to be honest, I thought the floodgates could have opened from there. I think we're forgetting Bailey's shot that hit the woodwork.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was before or after, but I was rewatching the game, and I think at 22, you just look at how everyone kind of bought into what we were wanting out of this game. I think there was more for us to prove than Brighton. Their season was done and dusted, and they were just going to go out with a bang if they won. But I think at 22 minutes, I saw Bailey actually hustle back on Encicio, his name wasn't, and actually won the foul. At the right back position. So, from the get-go, just everyone really looked locked in. And again, Brighton are not an easy side at all. Kind of coincidental that we've beat them twice this season. And then, we've kind of left it to the last day. I know Noel will touch on predictions earlier, but I always had a feeling it would come down to this, but couldn't have asked for a better start, to be honest, Scottie.
Absolutely. And like with Brighton having nothing to play for, Noah, that can go one of two ways. They can just relax and just say, right, yeah, let's just play, and they can, play well, or they can be, one foot on the beach already thinking about their holidays and, not really care at all. But they rocked up and they gave us a really good game. And, speaking like Tommy said about putting your body on the line, I thought that was highlighted in John McGinn. He just was putting his body on the line, sticking his bum in, turning people, winning the ball, getting a toe in. And I think he had a role in that first goal too, bodying one of their midfielders and keeping the attack alive.
I mean, you can speak about teams being on the beach, Scott, but I'll run you back to our first season in the championship. We played Brighton at Villa Park last game of the season. They come into the tie on top of the ladder. They need a win to secure the championship. And we draw with them. We steal the title off them. So I tell you what, if I was a Brighton fan, I would have loved to have taken European football of Aston Villa yesterday. So I think they were up for the fight. They wanted to prove they're a good side. They want to cement and finish their season with a win. But we were up for it. And as you mentioned, John McGinn, what a player. Since Unai Emery's come in, Juan McGinn has been a very good player, hasn't he?
He's great. He's great. And Tommy, it was a bit of a nasty game in that first half at times, I thought as well. There was a few niggly fouls. The Brighton players were surrounding the ref at one point.
Yeah, that was petty. So petty, Scott, wasn't it, man?
Yeah, but it just you could tell that there was a bit of edge, and that maybe there was some cards and some red cards around the corner in that second half.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a fair few of our players cop silly yellows as well. Unnecessary cards. But again, like, bodies on the line. I don't want to touch too much on the cards. Maybe let's touch on some of the positives. Kamara getting the foot in, chasing back when Ferguson actually sprung the offside trap. And then I think also Cash with the double block. Yeah, right? So they could have equalised, maybe even been up, had good fortune gone their way. VAR, the Messiah, whoever's up there, always coming to our rescue more than it's not. So I know it screwed us sometimes. Their goal was onside and you can't really do much about it, but I think it's done us a fair bit of justice, right? Like, if it was 1-1, then the game's kind of different, but, 2-0, I thought it was kind of locked up from there.
Yes, and then Enciso gave it to the whole end after scoring just to have the goal chalked off. Yeah, it was it was good to see that. And of course, VAR has been on our side of late, Noah, and but it is nervous doing the high line. And I think having Matty Cash in there instead of Ashley Young, I think Ashley Young is better at keeping that line, and Cash on a couple of the situations was just slightly behind the other three, and it wasn't quite as maybe neat and tidy as it was against Liverpool last week or the week before against Tottenham. So it's something it is risk and reward, but I'm kind of excited that Emery has the faith in our players to do it, to give us the confidence to do it.
100%, but I think it comes down a lot to how many games Cash has played in this system. Yep. I think Ashley Young's played a lot more football under Emery and is used to the high line compared to Matty Cash, who played a little bit, then got injured it was only a couple of weeks, but he ends up being out for a couple of months. So I think he's probably only played, I would say, under 10 games. I know I'm probably wrong there, that's just a guess, but about 10 games under Unai Emery, where Ashley Young probably played 20, or, he's played a lot of games. I love that we're doing it, because it's a real ballsy thing to do. Like, it really is, like, takes a lot of guts to say to your boys, we're doing this. And if it works out, like, which we've been so good at, you look like an absolute genius. But how many times have we seen high lines not work out for you? I can think of a game that we were playing in, which was the Liverpool 7-2, where we just took absolute advantage of Liverpool's high line. So you've got to be good at it.
Well, I'd say it's probably done us more justice than injustice, though. And again, you got to just commit to it and just refine over time. I did hear a stat, and I'm surprised you didn't flag this. In the last 14 games, we've only conceded 7 coming into this game. Did not know that. Thought, wow. So I think that plays its part as well, right?
Yeah, we had those 3 games, Leicester, Arsenal, and Man City, where we considered 11 goals in the 3 games, and then since then we've really tightened up the back line. And
that's right.
Tyrone Mings, Konza, Cash, Moreno, Digne in these last couple of games as well has really come to the fore and been really solid defensively. I was quite interested to see that global Greg Evans from the Athletic. He gave Martinez as his player of the year for the saves he made this season and the crucial saves, like some of those games where we just won by a goal, or and that just goes back to like that defensive setup, that the solidarity we have with those five at the back. And I think the high line, it's proactive. We're making the opposition have to adapt to it. Whereas if you sit back and you defend deep, like a lot of teams do, maybe against better sides, you're sort of reactive. You're waiting for them to do something, and then you try and close the door. Whereas we are forcing them to say, "Go on, play that ball over the top. Go on, we know you want to do
Agreed.
it."
I think Martinez has actually kind of bought back into what we're doing at Villa. I think his head was probably in the clouds, post World Cup fever. Probably post something else fever as well, but we won't go into that. But I think he's really brought back in, and arguably he could have been the player of the season. Scott, he's actually Mr. Consistent. I know Luis had a stellar season, but Martinez hasn't skipped a beat.
Definitely, he's definitely. I think since Emery has come in, he's turned his season around, just like many of the players, like we spoke about earlier with Watkins, McGinn, and. But he was letting in a few goals, maybe a few softer goals early in the season. That few of them weren't really his fault, deflections and things like that. But I think he's really stepped up a level, and he is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, and probably our best player in terms of if you look at who's the highest ranked player in his position he's in the top 10 goalkeepers in the world. I'm not sure we've got. One of the top 10 right backs or center midfields in the world, but we've definitely got one of the top 10 goalkeepers in the world. And
kind of weird, right? Like you look at all other players, like Dougie, player of the season, but he's probably not even top 20 in his position in the world. Martinez is top 3, man. I mean, you really think who's more considered? When you bring a World Cup home, I think that really puts you above the others in terms of pedigree. So it's kind of funny, right? But I think he said he wants to win something with Villa. This is a step towards that. We reinvest in the squad. We upgrade where we need to. We reinforce. We bring in good quality additions. I think our bench has always been a bit weak. I think that'll be interesting. I do think, I don't know if this is a good segue, but I think it could spell the end of some of our good youth. I think Ramsey's kind of established himself now in that system. Then you've got the likes of Archer, Kessler, Hayden, that. I think they might be on the way out. I love Archer, and I think he's going to be a freak, but if Emery says, hey, I want to bring in a $50 million, $60 million goal scorer, I don't think anyone's going to remember these players.
Yeah, but I guess the other side of that coin would be we've got more games now, so maybe we could integrate these guys. I mean, maybe Archer can play in the Europa Conference. Maybe Aaron Ramsey, someone like that, could come into the squad as well. Kessler Hayden, I was impressed with him when we saw him. Here in Australia in the preseason, and that just seems so long ago now. I was thinking, I can't believe that is this season.
It's approaching 12 months ago. How crazy.
It is. I know, and a different manager, a totally different mood compared to where we were, this time last year. So it's fantastic. It's such a huge result, and I'm just so glad that everyone sort of celebrated it together. The atmosphere. I mean, when JJ missed that chance, that absolute golden chance, everyone was singing JJ's one of our own. Like straight after, it was like, okay, with no negativity, we're gonna keep going. We're all in this together, and
that's how it's got to be. It's got to be. You're going to miss sitters. Sometimes results aren't going to go our way, but it's funny when we rally. And I was actually talking to a colleague of mine. He's actually a Chelsea fan. What a shit time. I know. But he was actually saying, he's got some mates down in Birmingham. Goes, mate, everyone talks about Villa and how incredible their support is more than anything. Because, you guys have stuck with your club and you deserve all the success. And it's true. It's been a roller coaster, man. I've been following Villa about, what am I now, 30, about 15 years. And it's probably been more bad than good memories, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, 4 years ago we got promoted, and now we're in Europe. It is a roller coaster ride, and you look at teams like Luton that have been promoted. 9 years ago they were in the National League, in the non-league, and now they're in the Premier League. So, you can have a fairy tale story in this game, and that's why we love it. And we're going through a good moment right now, and hopefully it continues, and we can be improving next season and go on a good cup run, because I've been looking through a Europa League all day, like, Europa Conference League, like who's in it, what's the format, when do we start playing, when's the draw, and I'm looking at all these teams that are in there, and Leicester got to the semi-final of it, the first
West
one.
Ham are dominating as well.
West Ham are in the final, so why can't we be in the final? There are some good teams in there. In the previous years, you had your Feyenoords, your Romas, teams like that got into the late stages. It's Fiorentina this year, AZ Alkmaar. These teams are going to be tough. And Tottenham in the first ever year, the Europa Conference League, they got knocked out in the group stages. I mean, I don't know if they took it seriously or not, but I don't really remember. But
they don't take anything seriously, Scott. That's the problem. League.
They're Spurs. I think the only team that are more Spursy than Spurs are Borussia Dortmund after the weekend. But that's for another day. But look, I'm excited. I think this is going to be great. I think we, 2 games a week. We can double up on the podcast. It's good for the content. I'm really excited. Let's get into the second goal. 2-0. We went. That was about 26 minutes in. That was Ollie Watkins with a goal. But I just want to highlight Leon Bailey, because he's another one that stepped up in the clutch moment, the clutch game. He's a guy that gets a lot of, that he's sort of like, he's like Vegemite. You either love him or hate him. And there's a lot of Villa fans out there in the Twitterverse that, give him a good bagging week to week. And I think he stepped up and had a great game and, showed what he could do possibly, if he gets a consistent run of games and gets his confidence back.
I mean, I'll jump in.
Yeah.
I just think Bailey has been so good this year. I know he hasn't had the return he would have liked, but I think if you told me that Leon Bailey would have like 4 goals and a few assists, I'm not sure how many it would be from right wing, right forward. He's been thrown around the place this year. He's had a tough year with management, but he actually looks quite settled in Emery's system. I'm not sure how long it's going to last for, but I'll take his return, especially when you look at how Ollie Watkins got 15 goals. You got 6 goals from Louise. You got 7 from Ramsey, something like that. That's a decent return from midfield. His involvement in that goal was crucial. Obviously, he doesn't get the accolades of the assist or the goal, but it was
the ball through was great quality. And JJ was so intelligent in that moment as well. He knew that he just had to take the touch across the defender, and then he had all the options he wanted. He could have a shot, he could give it to Ollie, and that was brilliant. But
not only that, if it was a bad pass, I reckon it's probably a penalty as well, because Steele absolutely takes him out. So
I agree.
I think best of both worlds. JJ's done the team thing. It's a setup for Ollie. If it's not a good pass, you get another crack at it anyway.
And I think it was fitting that Ollie gets the goal to take us to Europe, because
I agree.
Yeah, he's had a great season. He's gone through a bit of an off patch the last few weeks where his finishing, wasn't great. The penalty last week would have been disappointing for him, because he would have expected to stick that one away and get back on form. But I'm glad he didn't go into next season without scoring for a while. He's got his goal. He's got us to Europe, and we're looking forward to that Europa Conference League draw. I think it's like in August sometime, so we'll have to wait and see who we get. But guys,
I'd probably touch on Bailey as well, Scott. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I said, look, we did shell out like 30 mil, 35 mil for him. So Ollie, Dougie, and all that, they cost half of that, and their outputs, they've delivered greater results. I would say with Leon though, he's lightning, he's lethal. But he's been plagued with injuries, so I think this was his year to settle, to adjust, and I think now we look to build and improve. It looks like he's pretty settled on that right wing. I think that's where we're going to see him from now. Personally, I mean, if we shell out big bucks on a big name forward, I do still think Emery's going to bring one in. And I mean, we're forgetting we've still got Duran, right? He might fully develop in a year. We don't know. It might be Ollie out wide and maybe someone new in the middle. So I do think Leon or Bailey could actually, go to the bench and come on as an impact sub, which would still be a great result. Don't get me wrong. Like his legs in the final half would be insane.
Absolutely, but it seems to be any time he's fit, he gets picked by Emery. He does stick him in there as well. So I think he does like him, and I wouldn't be totally shocked if he does start again next season. But look, yeah, I expect us to make some signings, and I'm really excited because I think that Emery knows what he wants. He knows his game. He knows his style of play, and he could really. I think that we saw the owners there celebrating with him on the pitch. Wes and Nazir, like they're having they're right behind him, and I think that they're going to give him the keys to the car and say, "Look, bring in your players, we'll back you."
That's right.
And yeah, just look forward to another good campaign. But Noah, do you think the Thursday Sunday thing could be a problem because West Ham did struggle in the league this season? Are you worried about maybe too many fixtures?
I mean, I'm actually quite excited for too many fixtures, to be honest with you, Scott. Am I worried about the players? I think that Emery is a quality coach. He's a good manager. We've seen it this season. He loves Europe. He knows how to win Europe. He also knows how to maintain league positions. I think if you want any manager to be able to get you through a season in Europe, we've got the right man. And I think he'll get the players or the extra players he needs to make sure that we're not burning out too quickly, because obviously we want to do cup runs.
I reckon he's excited as shit. You saw that celebration. I also reckon, to be honest, he's got a big fat paycheck. He said, if I make Europe, and Sawiris and Eden said, yeah, no worries, mate. Whatever you want. Here's your big bonus if you make Europe. Now we make Europe all of a sudden. And I reckon he's got a big fat paycheck coming his way. And I reckon he's licking his lips with Europa. Like you said, Noah, this is the man for the job. This is the competition that he's made his name with. Again, do it. I mean, Europa, it's above conference, but to do a three-peat's insane.
Yeah, and he's done it with Villarreal as well. So he's won it 4 times. It's absolutely crazy, and I'm sure he thinks he can win the conference. Add another one. He's got to the semi-finals of the Champions League with Villarreal, knocking out Bayern. So
and maybe just some advice to Unai. Unai, please have dinner, have sex with your wife, and then get on the spread. Spread your bed sheets tonight and then get on the spreadsheets tomorrow. All right.
You think he should decompress a bit to take it easy?
He should definitely decompress.
Mate, he was definitely on the laptop. He was definitely showing the laptop doing scouting reports or something. He is
mate, we all know he was playing solitaire, Noah. Let's be real, mate. Season's over.
Yeah, he was checking out like Slavia Prague's form or something. He was
windrawwin.com.
Oh man, but he's great, and I think he spoke great. His Instagram post with the team celebrating and everything was fantastic. But let's go back to the game and finish off. Of course, Undav scores just before half time. I thought it was a nice goal. Little touch with his head was a bit of techers. I enjoyed that from a neutral perspective. But of course, that made it very nervy for us villains in that second half. And then the second half was a bit of a shootout in terms of they attacked, we attacked. There was my fingernails were going down to the bone at one point, but we got over the line, Noah. We did it. We hung on, and what can you say about this bunch of players that we haven't already said? It's just fantastic effort, and I can't wait to see where we go on from here.
I can't really say more about the players because I think they've been sensational. Obviously, it proves how key a manager is because it's the same. I keep pinching myself. It's the same group of players.
Yep.
Besides Moreno, besides Duran, besides Bertrand Traore, it is the same group of players that had a struggling 17th out of the relegation zone on goal difference. Like, I really do have to pinch myself. It is quite ridiculous. But I think that second half was an absolute masterclass from him. They threatened a lot in the first half, Brighton. I was very, very nervous. I think I put in our group chat how good they are. But I didn't actually feel threatened in that second half. I'm not sure I'm the only one here, but I thought that we just controlled that second half to perfection and got the 3 points, which was massive.
Definitely. Tommy, do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think if you kind of reflect on the season, right, let's go all the way back. I think every player has done something pivotal this season. Like, if each time you think of a player, they've done something, right, whether it's a man of the match performance or just put in a shift. For me, I think my player of the season to this day is probably still the Ashley Young long ball Kamara counter. gives it to Bailey, slots it in top
against
corner,
Leeds.
right? Like,
Against Leeds,
against
yeah.
Leeds, man. You know,
What
and
a
also
goal.
gone down. So see you, Leeds. Thanks for coming. Also sad to see Leicester go. You know,
I
with
know,
Dino.
that's heartbreaking.
That hurts. But yeah, I think every player has played a part this season. You know, Bertrand Traore, probably the biggest comeback story this year for us. I'm just happy to see him in a Villa shirt again. And
how huge is that goal?
It's funny that Leicester, I always said we were that Viagra pill that actually catapulted them to win the league. It was when they beat us, they came back. Yeah. And funny enough, we were, that goal was kind of what catapulted us, to where we are now. And yeah, just everyone's done their part. We've all bought in. It's all family. I mean, also just touching some really lovely photos. I think the Villa official page put some of Diego Carlos and his family, and
everyone.
That guy's
so
nice. He's not even playing. And look at all the smiles. Everyone's got their family out. Buendia. Super hot misses, by the way, Emmy. Love it. So no. There's a real sense of family here, or family, according to Emery, and everyone's bought into what he wants. Few people said I did see a comment saying he's a great underdog manager, but they don't reckon he'll ever manage top teams. And if that's the case, I mean, if we're considered an underdog, I'm happy to keep Emery
here. I'll take that 100%.
Yeah, let's give him a 10-year contract, 20 years. We don't mind.
Well, look, I mean, look at the teams he's managed in Spain, like Seville, Villarreal. They're at, a similar level to us. I mean, we have a bigger history than them in terms of, being European champions and this sort of thing, being champions, back in the good old 1800s and back in 1981 and this sort of thing. But, we're a team that should be looking to finish in the top 6 or 7, and that's our sort of area, and he's a great manager for that sort of team. He overachieves with squads. He's good in the cups, and he's good in the Europa League. So let's do it.
My lovely girlfriend Steph, I was trying to explain, different conferences and how we make Europa League, and she goes, "Wow!" She goes, "So if he done that in half a season, that means you should make the bigger one, the Champions one, next season if he does a full season." Well, ideally, right? That's the general consensus. She goes, it must be exciting to follow your team.
Well, it is exciting, and since he's come in, he's 4th in the points per game in terms of
ridiculous.
He's only behind Pep, Arteta, and Ten Hag by 0.1.
And he's got the second most points in 2023 behind Pep.
Yep,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, those top 4 spaces are going to be really open next season because 100%. Newcastle, you've got Liverpool coming back, you've got maybe Chelsea on a resurgence if they get Pochettino, and it's going to be, I think, Man City will probably win it again, but I think under that you could probably say it could be anyone in those next 3 spots.
Yep. And look, I do wish that 7th was already wrapped up, because I was actually excited to see Emery and De Zerbi go head to head. I think, De Zerbi's obviously he's a great up-and-coming manager. I think Brighton have a hell of a manager under him, and his style of play, very attacking as well. Emery's just more the grandmaster of chess, right? So I think it was like master and apprentice today, and I think the master's always going to come out on top. But, I just want to touch on it again. Full credit to Brighton, and I do love De Zerbi as a manager. Like what he's done with them, and he's probably got a shoestring of a budget compared to Villa. They're going to be a force next season, but I do... I don't want to jump to predictions, Noah, but I do think next year top 4 is within reach, because I think a lot of other clubs are starting to decline with their players, and we're kind of on the incline with who we're getting and who we're probably going to be linked with. We're always linked with great talent now. That's a great thing to see. Well, I don't like to read too much into rumours, but if we're linked with world-class players, well, that's a good sign.
Absolutely. And I mean, throughout the game, Noah, there was it's very fine margins. There was, Brentford were beating Man City at one point. Tottenham got the early goals against Leeds, which meant for a while we were not in that 7th spot until we got our goals. So yeah, it was it was everything just was like a roller coaster. It was crazy to think if Brighton equalised here, we could drop to 9th. In those last 10 minutes. So. It is fine margins, and we're going to be tested next season. More games, bigger expectations. So it's going to be a tough season. It's not easy to back it up year after year in the Premier League because teams just keep coming. They keep putting money in. They keep improving, and we're going to have to keep doing the same. If we stand still, we'll get left behind. So I really hope we have a good plan. We absolutely bolster in this next transfer window.
I tell you what, this is why I love this sport. Like the final day of the season, so much up for grabs. Technically, 2 teams could have survived relegation. Unfortunately,
yeah,
they all went down. But there was so many things could happen. Brentford could have finished 7th. We could have finished 9th. Tottenham could have come in. Like there was just so much going on. I know the league was wrapped up. Not like the Aguero season, like we got that goal, but it's just such an incredible sport, and this is why it's like just.
And Australian fans that aren't soccer people don't really get it. You don't have finals, you don't have a grand final. It's a bit of a cultural shock to them to know that it's just whoever finished on top wins the league.
Then you've got other competitions, right? So it's not only the best in your country, you've got to be the best in Europe to back it up as well. Then you've got the FA Cup, all these other cups. AFL is just one comp. Again, I love AFL, don't get me wrong, but it's a completely different sport. I also, what was I going to say? Bloody hell, Noah. What was Noah just saying?
I was talking about how I love this sport, mate.
Yeah, then I bloody forgot.
Well, I was just going to say that, like if you look at something like Welcome to Wrexham, right, with the Wrexham ownership, like that was the thing that, brought these American guys in. They've got a similar sports system to Australia in that they have finals and no relegation and this sort of thing. But they thought, you can take this team and go all the way to the Premier League, that's what's brilliant about this sport. We saw it with Luton beating Coventry, our neighbours, so we won't have another sort of Midlands team in the Premier League, unfortunately for them. But it's just. It is amazing, and it was so good to have something riding on the last game of the season that wasn't relegation. It was something positive this time.
I agree, and I think that's what I forgot to say. We had a tough run in to our last few games. Probably had the hardest run in, and we came out on top. And again, I do wish it was settled, but I think the fact that we won this today, or this morning our time, just how resilient we are all of a sudden. Right, we're just grinding out results against big teams. Yeah, it sucks. We lost to Wolves and. We've dropped some silly games this season, like Leicester, when they came back against us, and we made it hard for us. But I think now we have belief, and I think we just know how to win games. Win them ugly. Sometimes you have to revert to a bloody park in the bus. If it works, it works.
That was 7 wins at home in a row, I think, to finish like the season. Yeah,
it's an unreal number. And again, we always touch, and I know Emery touches on it, like unreal support, unreal fans, and we touch on fans. Thank you to our Coop De Villa supporters this year. The only one that really stands, I'd say my personal supporter of the season, I'll say it early, I'll probably jump in and say probably going to be Mohammed Adam, all the way from Norway. So
we love you, Mohammed.
Go and get all the other Scandinavians aboard, the whole 9 of yous.
Yeah, you might be able to watch Villa if they draw Bodø Glimt or some Norwegian. I don't know whereabouts in Norway you're from. Please let us know, and I don't know, maybe you'll get a bit of a European tour to your part of the woods. That'd be great.
And Mohammed Adam, your English is fantastic, by the way. It's definitely better than our Norwegian. But no, thank you to all of our fans. Scott, probably your pet mum and dad, and Noah, your Uncle Coxie, probably being, the locals, our first couple supporters. And we've grown to over 600 now in probably a year. And, we started this in COVID just to keep ourselves occupied. I've already, I'll commit for the next 10 years. I said I'd skip my wedding for this.
Sign him up. Sign him up. Get that contract, Scott.
That's
Mate,
it.
Sign him up. Give him a long term. I'll do it.
Tommy's the star power, and we are going to see him put those shorts on soon. So I'm very excited to see that.
When are we doing it, mate? Honestly,
end of the podcast, mate.
Yeah, we'll do. Right. Yeah, we'll finish up. So, look, where else can we go from here, Noah? The ladies had a good win against Liverpool in the last game. Arsenal. Sorry, it was Arsenal. Liverpool was a draw.
They drew that, yeah.
Yeah. But they beat Arsenal, which is a big scalp, and Rachel Daly got Player of the Season
and the Golden Boot
and the Golden Boot
as well. Yeah,
and equaled the record for the most amount of goals in the Women's Super League with 22 goals. So congratulations to her. I hope we can keep hold of her for another season because I'm sure the Wolves will come knocking at the door and they'll want to sign her up because she is absolute quality and she's got a big few months ahead with the World Cup coming up here in Australia and New Zealand. So good luck to her for that as well. And the other villains are Hampton and there is one more.
Laura Nobbs, I think.
That's
maybe.
it. She's in the England squad too.
We love Nobbs.
We love Nobbs. And Alicia Lehman was on the score sheet too, so good on her.
Alicia Lehman. We definitely love Alicia Lehman.
I know that. I know that you love her. And I saw that she did a video with the train guy. Did you see that? This guy that's the train spotter guy who's been famous on the YouTube.
The train guy. Okay.
No, I haven't seen him.
Well, check it out. It's quite interesting. She dropped in and helped him out. He just watches trains go by and he gets very excited by them. But
I love that.
He's got a huge following. So she was there with him, so that was good to see. But yeah, what should we do? The shorts now? No,
I've got one thing to go through.
Okay. The predictions.
I'm actually not wearing any pants, by the way, so I don't know if I should be wearing some.
This is Coop De Villa late night edition. Tommy, we might have to put like a fuzzy bit over you or something.
You might have to turn his camera off for a second. But
yeah, so we did. So Noel, we did a prediction video at the start of the season, and you've been back to have a little look-see to see how we got on. Take us through it. How did we get on?
All right, so this is so long ago. I think it was late July, just after the Wrens game, the preseason game. So this is such a long time ago. So we did a few categories. We did relegation, top 7, Villa's spot, player of the year, young player of the year, surprise of the year, disappointment of the year, most goals, most assists. Then Tommy added Premier League Golden Boot, and then we did most under pressure.
Okay, I don't remember. I don't even remember who I picked.
I know which one I got right.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I will do relegation first.
Yep.
I got the most relegation spots right. I got 2. The rest of you guys got 1. So I said Bournemouth, Southampton, and Leeds. We all had Bournemouth last, by the way. No surprise.
Wow.
And so, Scott, you had Bournemouth, Fulham, Southampton.
Fulham
Tommy had Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham. And I believe Tommy also said, no matter if it's this season or next season, Fulham will go down one of the 2. So watch out, Fulham.
I'll stick with that.
Top 7. I'm going to start with Tommy's ridiculous choice. Chelsea to win the league. Tommy had Chelsea to win the league. Followed by Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, and West Ham. Then, Scott, you had Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Aston Villa to get 7th.
Wow. I called it.
Wow.
And then I had City, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal. And I said Arsenal all or nothing to the Amazon Prime. They're getting nothing. And they ended up getting nothing anyway. So that was pretty spot on. Then I had United and West Ham. Quickly onto the Villas. So, Scott, you said 7th. Remarkable prediction. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
I said 9th. Tommy said 8th. And I'll tell you what, if we went back through his predictions in November, we would look so stupid. And then, Scott, just a little quote from you. You said, Ollie Watkins is not scoring anywhere near 17 goals this season.
Okay.
And he got pretty close to that.
Yeah.
He got pretty close.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd do as well as he did, but he's proved me wrong, and I love you, Ollie.
And this was in July, right?
This is in July. And then we'll go into who we thought would be our player of the year. Now, everyone technically had a different one. So I had Matty Cash. I thought Gerrard's system, the way he has his wing backs involved. Tommy, you originally said Diego Carlos as which is not a bad shout. Unfortunately, he got injured. But then you said Kamara could also be part of the season, which again, injuries. Scott, you just went straight out with Kamara.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think when we saw him in preseason, he was the standout player,
head and shoulders above.
Yeah, if you think about like when he has been fit, he has probably been one of our best players. I thought he was great yesterday.
I think if
he's
he
so
stays fit the
calm.
whole season, he wins Player of the Season.
Possibly.
I really do, because he was so good. I'll quickly jump into Young Player of the Year, which surprisingly we didn't really have an academy player break through this season.
No.
First time in a while. So I went Timmy Agrabonum, and then you two both went Cameron Archer, which I think was a pretty safe choice.
Well, I think we win because he had a pretty good season at Middlesbrough.
But
Tim actually didn't do too bad at QPR either. So
no, exactly that.
What about Ramsey Jr. as well?
Yeah, but they weren't our prediction, mate, were they?
Yeah, I know.
Surprise of the season.
Yep.
We all went someone different again. I went Cameron Archer.
Yep.
Tommy went Leon Bailey. And Scott, I think you could be quite happy with this one. Esri Konsa, I think, had a very good season as well. So
look, I always rated Esri. I love myself a bit of Konsa. Did you see his video saying with JJ where
and JJ's like
it's only the conference. Oh my god.
It's pretty funny though, but he said he was joking. If he didn't, he was, but
who cares?
Disappointment of the season. Does anyone remember who they went for?
No.
Steven Gerrard.
No, you did not go for Steven Gerrard, Tommy. So I went for Danny Ings.
That's a good one.
Tommy was in this phase of hating Ollie Watkins, so he said Ollie Watkins.
Yes.
It looked good at the time, Noah.
And Scott said Leon Bailey. But Tommy also went to say, Tommy said, if we're not in the top half mid-season, Gerrard would be gone.
Yeah,
that was bigger than the Black Sea prediction.
That was one of your better ones. That was far better than Ollie Watkins will be gone.
Well, he didn't make the England squad either. I said he won't make the England squad.
He didn't.
So I was right times two. Thank you.
But didn't you say that we'd get rid of him? Or
you said he'd be gone. Yeah, you did.
Get rid of him. Not make the England squad.
Bring back Rich Burton, because I'll tell you what, you had a crack at him after the Bournemouth episode. I remember.
Where's Rich Burton? He said, "Oh, Gerrard, you bloody hater, Tom." I'm like, I know my shit, Rich. Not always, but I pick out some gems.
So then we got most goals. Now this is almost a bang-on prediction from myself. I said Ollie Watkins 15 or 16 goals.
Wow.
That is spot on. You can go watch that. You don't believe me? Go watch back that prediction episode. Unreal. Tommy said Danny Ings.
What is it? Link below. We always do whatever.
Well, Scott, put that link in the description for that predictions episode.
I will.
Seeming Tommy was hating Ollie Watkins. He went Danny Ings. Scott, you went Ollie Watkins.
How many did I say?
You didn't say. You didn't say.
Well,
most assists, everyone's wrong. You two said Coutinho. I said Leon Bailey.
God, Coutinho, that's a bad.
I know,
pick.
but you got to think. I think it's his redemption next season. I reckon. I really do. I think so.
Yeah, redemption at Corinthians.
Now, Premier League Golden Boots. Tommy jumped in and said, "Let's do the Golden Boot."
Right.
Scott said Salah. Tommy said Jesus. I said Erling Haaland.
Wow.
Well done.
Under the most pressure. I said Steven Gerrard.
That's a good call.
Scott, you said Matty Cash because of Kane, Kessler, Hayden pressure.
Yeah, that didn't really work out well.
Didn't work out.
No.
Tommy, you said Konsa or Digne under most pressure for you.
Well, Digne could be gone, so I guess.
But to be fair, my pick, it wasn't Kessler Hayden. It was Ashley Young that put him under pressure. So I was kind of half right.
Yeah.
The Cash would be under pressure.
I also made another comment, Noah, I believe, about someone else under pressure, if I'm correct.
I don't remember. Did I say something?
Yeah, I sent it in one of the pods. I said, Troy Eccles might be under pressure if he keeps missing some podcasts. And here we are, the three of us. We love Troy. But
hashtag bring back Troy.
T for Troy, not A, you dipshit.
I did a hashtag, mate.
Anyway. Hashtag. I did say Troy's under.
That's right. I didn't have that one.
Yes, we do miss Troy, but he's taken his time to spend more time with his family, and that's all good.
That's fair enough.
He's welcome back anytime.
This is a good segue, Scott. Obviously, this is the last episode of the season. I still can't quite believe our second season of the podcast has come to the end.
And we're coming up to 100 episodes soon.
It's great. That'll be next year, next season.
Well, probably in the off season, right?
But one of these episodes we want to do is a Q&A because everyone keeps asking for a genuine Q&A, and we used to answer a question at the start of every episode. So you, the fans, if you have any questions, I'm going to put a post in the community tab again, just like we did for our Play of the Year poll. Let us know some questions. It can be you want to ask Tommy why he always wears a hat. You know, you can ask him something like that. Or if you want to go for a broad question to all of us, feel free to ask your question, and we'll. I'm looking forward to on that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Get your questions
great. And we can do a lot of. I think the quiz should probably come back. I would say over the break, we'll do some transfer talk. We'll do some, maybe some watch-alongs again of some old matches like we tried before. We got plenty of stuff on the back burner. So please make sure you've hit that bell, and you'll be notified anytime we drop a video. And like and subscribe, of course, if you have not already. So because we're over 600 now, and we're trying to pull in that 1,000. That'd be great. But you guys have been great.
Come on, Villa. Come on. Scott's got to buy his yacht. We need
that's
to hit 1,000.
I know.
Coop De Villa.
I know. I got to take a second mortgage out.
And maybe this is maybe a good segue to the final prediction. I believe sometime I said, and it was so far fetched. I said I will break open my crappy Benteke shorts that are probably worth nothing now, but they were 9 years ago when I turned 21. So this is a very sentimental gift from my 21st. And I believe we've qualified for Europa Conference.
We have.
But still Europa. So do we
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Tommy.
Let's not tell my mum, but I brought her meat smashing hammer, and I've also brought a knife.
Okay.
So if any of you tell my mum that I've got a hammer, I'll kill you. That's why I brought it.
Get in the comments.
This could go badly. Let's go.
Yeah. If I die, Noah, you can keep my laptop, mate. Don't stress. All right, let's make it open.
All right. So Tommy is going over to the wall. He's picking up the Benteke shorts. Are they signed?
They're definitely signed.
They are signed, aren't they? I can see.
Happy. It's here. Let me show you. It says "Happy 21st, Thomas from Villa."
Oh, lovely.
And so these are signed Benteke training shorts. So yep. I am ripping up in something that means a lot to me. He was my favourite player for Villa at the time. Carried the club, kind of like I carry this podcast. Yeah,
exactly like that. You are the Benteke of this podcast for sure.
I can either be Benteke or bloody, I don't know, someone terrible. All right. I think you can actually slice it at the back.
Okay.
Oh, this is so good.
This is like an unboxing.
Now he's going to fix the frame up and just get them back on the wall.
No, mate. These are coming out. I'm going to wear these to bed now.
Glass.
You know, Scott. You know what, Scott? I've come prepped, mate. Give me a sec. Just give me a sec.
Okay.
I've brought a blanket. We're just going to smack the fucker open.
All right, let's do that. This is
we're going full jack. This thing's fucking bulletproof, man. Jesus.
Oh.
What's in the back? Jesus Christ.
Okay.
This
isn't as straightforward as we thought.
No, it's not, mate. I take my hat off to labourers. I actually thought they'd done fuck all. Good on.
You might have to cut this down a bit, Scott.
Yeah, this is like getting into Fort Knox or something. Like, come on.
Mate, honestly, it's easier to escape fucking Alcatraz than cut this thing off.
Go. Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go. We're getting somewhere. Here we go.
Okay.
And I got a chicken parma, and Tommy got a steak. A bit overcooked for his liking, I do believe. He asked for it medium well, but it was definitely on the well done side.
Medium well? Who are you?
Exactly what I thought.
Oh my God. You got to go medium rare, surely.
These guys stapled them on a piece of paper. Fucking hell, man. Here we go. They're out.
Here we go.
Man.
Well done. Yes. Oh. Europa Conference. You got to hold it up like.
So they're signed by Benteke. I don't even know if they. Do you reckon I can sign up?
I'm sure you'd be able to get into them, but I'm
not fucking Noah, mate.
Look, just wear them on your head, if you want.
I've spent all night opening the thing. I'm gonna. What large are these? What are these midgets? Jesus Christ! Oh, that's good enough, all right. I think
Yes,
that's
you've done you've done amazing. That's quality podcasting right there. For everyone listening on Spotify, I'm sorry. I apologize because
they just heard a bunch of grunting. They don't know what's going on.
But Tommy did just take his Benteke shorts that he's had for 9 years from on the wall, signed and framed, and he's taken them out and he's wearing them because we made it to Europe. So well done to you, Tommy.
You know what? If you want them, keep them. You want them, Noah?
No, they're yours, mate.
No, good on you for following through.
They mean nothing. It's the frame that meant something.
Oh,
now,
God.
I'm more annoyed. I'm more annoyed now that my old man's gonna bloody. Oh shit! I'm so stupid that I forgot I'm on my phone. I actually picked up my laptop. Look at this. My old man's more pissy that there's a nail drilled into the wall than he never knew about.
Oh.
Anyway, lads.
All right. Well, that's probably as good a time as any to wrap it up, guys. Cool. It's been an amazing season. Thank you all for supporting, watching, subscribing, all your comments. Please let us know how excited you are for this European tour we've got coming up next year. Will you be traveling to any of the European destinations? If you're in the UK, please let us know. And who would you like us to sign in the summer? What areas do we need to strengthen? All that kind of thing. Please let us know. And we will be back with, we'll be catching up every now and then we'll be back. Don't worry about that.
We'll be back. We'll just live stream. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll talk about something. There's going to be lots of transfer news, I'm sure, lots of rumors. And, it's not going to be too far away till we start playing preseason games again. And we've got the Tour of America coming up. So it's going to be very exciting. And if you're in America and you're going to any of these games, please let us know in the comments because we are a worldwide fan base and you are all welcome at Coop De Villa. We've loved your support in the 22-23 season. It's been magnificent. We finished in Europe. Noah, Tommy, I want to thank you guys for being here every week. You guys are amazing. You're my brothers and, I love you guys and
same here,
up
Scottie,
the Villa, and we will see you again. Thanks, guys. We will see you all again very soon. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.